Our movie begins with Maggie, the editor-in-chief of a large, domineering publishing house, who is feared by all her employees, especially Andrew, her secretary, who informs her that she has an important appointment with the lawyer responsible for her immigration affairs. But she does not care and swallows Andrew, and they are going to Bob's office, who works with him in the publishing house. Andrew comes out to warn the whole floor that the manager is leaving, so they should be careful of their actions. He moves to Bob's office, and Maggie enters and tells him that he was fired from his job because of his laziness and that he does not see a good job, and that she will give him 2 months before she fires him so that he can look for a job somewhere else. But as soon as she leaves his office, he comes after her and curses in front of the whole floor and tells her that she is a selfish and arrogant person, and that all she cares about is her appearance in front of the management and nothing else. Maggie talks to him and tells him that if he says one more word, she will call security and throw him out of the house immediately. She leaves and asks from Andrew has to come at the end of the week because they have a lot of work, and even though he has his grandmother's birthday, he cancels because of his work and calls his mother and apologizes to her that he can't come because of his work and his bossy boss. Then he gets a call from the management asking for Majed to come to them. She goes out and tells her that they banned her from traveling to the city of Frankfurt because she is banned from traveling outside the country until after renewing her immigration papers. Nevertheless, she traveled and did not care about what they said. Based on what happened, her visa application was rejected and she will be deported to her country, Canada. The solution they have is to submit a new visa application, but 1 year after her deportation. If she is deported, it is not possible for her name to remain in an American company, and they are forced to terminate her services and hand over all her work to Bob. Andrew comes to her, as she agreed with him, to come after 10 minutes and tell her that she has a meeting, so that she does not stay too long with the management. She gets an idea. She asks him to enter the office and stand next to her, and tells them that she and Andrew will get married, and this will solve her immigration problem. Andrew remains standing there, not understanding anything, but he agrees with her. She asks the administration to make the marriage official so that her problems can be solved. She returns to her office, and the whole floor remains staring at Andrew, because the news of the marriage has spread until he enters her office to understand what happened. She tells him that she will marry him and get the visa, and then she will leave him, and that he is forced to help her, otherwise Booba will take her place and dismiss Andrew from his position, and then he will not find anything to work in. So, Bai decides to go along with her and go with her to the immigration department. She passes the entire standing line and submits her papers and goes to the department investigator who, as soon as he sees them, asks him if they were Bertak Abu, a crime of fraud by lying to the immigration department and saying that they were engaged so that Maggie could avoid her deportation, and that he received a report saying. So Maggie tells him that the one who filed the report is definitely named Bob Wan, a former employee who hates her and is trying to ruin her reputation, nothing more. The investigator starts talking to them and tells them that in order for the immigration department to believe that you are engaged and will get married, they must go through steps. The first is a separate interview for each of you, and we will ask questions about the other. The second step is that their relationship will be investigated through their phone calls and the opinions of their neighbors and colleagues about them. If something goes wrong and Facebook is discovered, Maggie will be permanently deported, and Andrew will be imprisoned for 5 years and fined $250,000. They say that Andrew kept their relationship a secret until Maggie gets promoted to editor so that he can be in a good position, and then they will announce their love story. Maggie says that they were planning to announce it to Andrew's family at the end of the week on his grandmother's birthday, when the whole family will gather. Andrew continues her words because she doesn't know what's going on at his family's house. He tells her that they will travel to Alaska to the family's house and deletes their official documents on the following Monday. and tells them that he hopes their answers are identical. Andrew leaves the office thinking about what was said and does not care that Maggie is behind him and keeps saying that he should book her a plane and decide on vegetarian food for her and represent him well in front of his family. He tells her that he is seriously talking about the promotion and that he will not be her secretary, so she rejected his promotion. He tells her that I resign and you will be lost without me. He walks and leaves her. Bella finds that she agreed to his promotion and understands that he can exploit the situation to his advantage and achieve what he wants. He tells us that he will be here immediately, not after 2 years, and that his book will be printed soon. In addition, he is the one who will decide to inform his family about the engagement whenever he wants. He asks her to get down on her knees and ask him to agree to marry her in the middle of the street. He tells her that he will accept, and he will meet you tomorrow at the airport, and he leaves, and Pitbull is at the airport, and he will have a booklet from the immigration department with all the questions that he can ask. And he tells her that the good news is that he knows everything about her, and the bad news is that she only has 4 days to know everything about him. And she keeps asking him questions about her and pajamas, and he arrives at the airport after he takes another plane to the railway, and Bella tells Andrew that his mom and grandmother are waiting for him at the airport, and they know about Maggie, and he smiles at the whole city, and at first he lets her carry her bags by herself, until he sees her and throws her bags in the launch, and she falls in the water, and he doesn't care, and lets her go down the stairs by herself, and he tries to offer his help, but she refuses until she reaches the launch safely, and she tells him that she hates the sea, because she doesn't know how to swim, so she keeps wearing a life jacket and philosophizes about his grandmother's birthday, and he becomes his father's apple, who always belittles what he does it. And they say that it is an unnecessary job, and that he works as an assistant editor, and that his girlfriend is his manager, and he tells Andrew that she is not only his girlfriend, and he sells to everyone there that she is his fiancée, and that they will get married soon, and he protects the guests and takes their belongings, and tells them that they will definitely sleep in one room together, and a small dog enters, and she tells them that it is Beno's dog soon, and she is preparing for them to leave the door of the palace open, or the eagles will kidnap it, because it is small. But Maggie is correcting an important phone for her work, and she does not find a network in her room, and she keeps going out of the palace to find a network, and the dog comes out after her, and the eagle attacks it and kidnaps it, and she keeps running after the eagle until the dog sits down, and she carries it and runs back home, because the eagle started chasing her, and she tries to protect herself until the eagle snatches the phone from her hand and flies away with it. So she leaves her, and Andrew's mother and grandmother think that she is playing with the dog, and Andrew comes to her and tells her that she is going out with his family today, and that he is going to meet his father because he wants her, and he acts like a fool and apologizes to him for what he said in front of his fiancée, and tells him that the time has come for him to leave the job that he does not need in New York and come take over his family's business here. But they get close again, and he leaves, and Maggie goes out with Andrew's family and meets Greet, Andrew's ex-fiancée, and asks about the reason for their separation, and tells her that Andrew offered her marriage and travel so that they can start a new life together. But she refused because she was afraid to go to a new place and leave her city and town, so he separated from her and traveled alone. They finish their outing and come back and see Andrew breaking wood with an axe because of his anger. His mother understands that something happened with his father and goes to him and tells him to stop the way he treats his son, and that she wants to see her son more. Once in 3 years, he is the reason why her son does not come home, and that he must support the idea of his marriage to Maggie, even if he rejects her. Maggie is standing and listening to all of this. At night, she smiles about what is between him and his father, and refuses to talk about this subject. She feels that he is upset because of his father, and starts to talk about herself and her childhood. She is able to make him laugh, and they keep talking until they go to sleep. Maggie wakes up before him to fix her appearance, but she finds that Andrew's mother is knocking on their door to give them breakfast. Andrew wakes up quickly and sleeps next to Maggie. She enters and urges them to get married tomorrow because if they do, their marriage will be the best in the family. On the grandmother's birthday, they refuse until the grandmother tells them that she wants to celebrate the marriage of her only grandson before she dies. They decide to agree. After they go out, he is afraid that something will happen to them if they know that the whole thing is acting. Maggie treats him differently, and it is clear that she has started to love him, and they say that she needs to go out alone for a while, and she finds a bike in front of her and she rides it, and she keeps saying that it is a deal, and that it is not right for her to fall in love now until she enters the middle of the forest and finds that Grandma is performing strange rituals as a kind of thanks for all the blessings around her, and her mother is the one who brings Maggie and Andrew together and tells her to come and do the same, and Maggie keeps dancing, and Grandma watches her and dances with her, and Andrew comes to watch what his wise manager is doing and tells her that the phone line that he ordered for her has arrived in the city and that he is going to receive it. And she finds that there are 37 calls on the voicemail, and they say that she needs a computer urgently to finish her work on it. And she notices that he is standing with Grat, and she gets jealous of him and finishes her work and is on her way home until she meets Andrew's father. And her grandmother wants her on an important trip alone, so they take the wedding dresses to the shop, and she gives her grandmother the family dress that was designed by the grandmother's mother herself, and she gives her a necklace and tells her that it has been in the family for 50 years, and that she wishes to give it to her and to her daughter after her, because this is the way they feel that she is with them, even after an important matter. And Maggie cannot refuse the grandmother's request, and it is the first time for Maggie that she feels that she has a family and someone who loves her like this. And she runs to Andrew and drives the lunch boat instead of him, and tells him that she is the reason for destroying his life, and that all of this would be destroyed if he knew the truth, and that she forgot the meaning of the word family, and that there are people who love her and wish her happiness, even though she has everything, except that she does not have a family, and that she will be the reason for destroying all of this for Andrew. And she leaves the lunch boat for Andrew to drive, and he tries once and it falls into the sea, and he carries it back home, and it is his father is waiting for them, and tells them that they need them for something, and they see an immigration investigator in front of them. He tells them that he was sure of their books, and that he has a deal for them before he arrests them, which is that Andrew will sign a confession that the marriage is a fraud or he will go to prison, and in both cases, Maggie will be deported to Canada. Andrew tells him that if he wants a confession, then he should confess that he has been working with Maggie for 3 years, and that 6 months ago he liked her, and that their wedding will be tomorrow. He takes Maggie and they go back to their room. The next day comes and the wedding takes place, and among the guests is the immigration investigator. Before they are announced as husband and wife, Maggie decides to tell them that she is Canadian and that her visa has expired. She knew that if she blackmailed Andrew to help her, he would agree because he loves his work and his job very much. That is why she forced him to help her, but after she got to know him and his family, whom she loved very much, accepted, she decided that it was not possible. She destroys his life for her own personal interest, and that she is sorry for what she did, and goes to the investigator and tells him that she will travel and return to her country, and leaves and walks, and Andrew's family tries to understand from him what happened, and he leaves and looks for Maggie and Bella in his book that is on the catwalk next to her dress, and she left him a letter in which she tells him that his book is very special, and that she prevented it from being published because of her fear of losing him as an assistant to her, but she will be careful to publish it before she leaves the country. So, Bay decides that he will go after her, but his father tries to stop him, and they quarrel, and she tries hard to silence them until she feels pain in her heart, and she is patient and moves by plane to the hospital and tries to talk to them and tells them that they are one family and they must always support each other so that she can die while she is comfortable, and she sleeps and sings her eyes, and then she gets up and tells them that she is fine now, and the plane tells him to go to the airport instead of going. The hospital is about to complain to his mother, and they write that she laughed at them and she wasn't tired or anything. And he moves to the airport to catch Maggie before she travels, but he finds that his plane has already left, and she gets very upset, and he doesn't have time to tell her that he loves her, so she can tell him that she loves him too. And Maggie goes to her office to pack her things and philosophizes to her that he wants to talk to her, and she keeps talking until he gets upset and tells her to be quiet a little, and tells her that 3 days ago he hated her and wished that the car would hit her and he would be done with her. But after they traveled to his country, he started to love her until she suddenly stopped and ran away. And he was even more sad when he saw that the only one he loved left the country, and he proposes to her in front of everyone, and they stay and go again to the immigration investigator and tell him that they are engaged again, but for real, and are ready for all the steps he wants from them, because this time they truly love each other, not acting like